So hello and welcome to my first scheduled release on the Aegis Plays channel. This is going to be a weekly series where I'm starting with Command & Conquer and I'm going to go back through some of the old games, the classic PC games, some classic console games maybe, that really sort of got me into gaming and turned me into a gamer really. So way back when in 1995 this amazing game was released. I think really the best thing to do is kind of jump right in and we'll talk a bit more about the channel, a bit more about the game, and go from there. So let's start a new game. I think for the purposes of this I am going to go through the Global Defense Initiative.
Global Defense Initiative selected.
Are you picking this up?
I'm indeed.
Good. I know you need more deep background, but we're up against it. Nod forces have fortified this beachhead at X-16Y42. Intelligence is still coming in, so we can't tell you a lot. But we found a chink in their armor. Commander Carter can sneak you and some backup forces on shore right here. You may get some artillery support from his gunboats, but this is mostly grunt work. Your mission is simple. Knock out all fortifications. Eliminate all Nod troops, and establish a beachhead by building your base. Good luck.
So that's one thing I've always appreciated with the Command & Conquer games ever since their inception, is the fact that they actually get real actors to play the part. You know, your cutscenes were very good, especially for the time. Keep these guys here. Gunboat should finish that one off. Oh, really? He's attacking me? Don't think so. Thank you. So, this actually led on from... Well, this was the first real PC game I played, but this led on from owning an Amiga 500, so a very old machine, and from a game I used to play on there called Cannon Fodder, which was a very similar idea except without the base building. You had 4 infantry units, and you had to go through, very similar to this, just point and click, and go through do various missions. Obviously that was on the old floppy disk drives, and sounded and looked terrible. Come on, finish these guys off. Oh, don't really want... No, you go away. Let's just take them out. Take them out. These minigunners are alright en masse, so yeah, that really was kind of where my love of RTS games started. Was back there, the strategy involved. As I'll wait for the video, and we'll continue. One sec. So my love of RTS games started back there, and if I was to compare it to a more modern game, it'd be like Sudden Strike, I suppose. You've got very limited resources, very limited units, and whereas this is a bit more base building. So before we select the next mission, I'll continue on with this a little bit quickly. So yeah, went from there over to PC. My granddad, surprisingly, actually bought me my first PC and really got me into gaming in the first place, before we even had a console, before we had PC, before anything really. Even the Amiga was what he got me. I used to go over to his as a as a child, and I'd sit in front of his computer and we'd load up DOS, and he'd teach me how to write the DOS codes to get to the games. Yeah. So really, from such a young age, he kind of got me into it, really. Let's continue with the next one. See what they've got to say about Estonia.
Good job with the beachhead, Commander. It's time to bring you up to speed on Nod so you know what you're dealing with. This is Kane, the self-appointed leader of the Brotherhood of Nod. Stand by, I'll link us up.
Condition critical. Know why Nod had this beach bottled up? They're protecting a big Tiberium refinery that intelligence somehow missed. We need backup now. Nod troops are pouring out of their base, strangling our foothold. We gotta knock out that refinery, eliminate all Nod forces before we lose our position. I don't know how long we can hold out.
Damn. You heard the man. What are you waiting for?
Our base is under attack.
Right, let's get back into it. So, right, we won't bother repairing any of that yet. Let's get these guys as Group 2. And this lot as Group 1. Oh, I forgot how bloody long that takes. Right. Let's scout around a bit.
Reinforcements have arrived.
So, yeah, he kind of got me into gaming. And, bought me my first Amiga, got a first PC.
Reinforcements have arrived.
As everyone, we had a, well, I say everyone, a lot of people had the Nintendo. We had a Mega Drive. Played a bit of Sonic, but my heart has always been with the strategy games.
Low power.
What's this
Building.
low power? I haven't built a power plant yet. Oh, you can wait.
Building.
Don't come and attack yet.
Construction complete.
At least let me get
New
the
construction.
base
action.
operational. Come on.
Building.
And these out to explore a bit more.
Building. Unable to comply.
Oh yeah, gone.
Unit ready.
Take him out.
Building.
And then
Ready.
yeah, went from Sega Mega Drive. We had a Game Gear. Game Gear was quite fun. For any of you that don't know, it's a huge handheld console. Took 6 AA batteries to power it, and they didn't last very long at all anyway.
Building.
But it was basically a miniature Mega Drive. You could play all your Sonic, Outrun. It was actually at the time better
Building.
than the Nintendo, the Game Boy.
Building.
But because it didn't have as much following as Nintendo, oh my god, they're all coming. There's only a few of them that way. Let's take these guys up here. And these guys can come down here.
Building.
So yeah, it never really picked up as much as the Game Boy. Maybe because of, again, 6 AA batteries and the battery life wasn't great, but it was in full colour, backlit screen. At the time, it was so much better. Oh my god, there's loads of them. Right. Okay, let's get you guys to come back down here. We'll just get the minigunners in force, because these minigunners are brilliant when there's loads of them.
Unit ready. Building.
And I'll just keep these guys here to protect my base.
Unit ready.
Come on, you guys spread out a bit.
Building.
So,
Unit
yeah, and then
ready.
consoles, we kind of stuck with that for a while. My first PC wasn't great. I was able to play a few games like this, but then as games started progressing quite quickly, we never had a dedicated graphics card, and it was just kind of easier to go with the consoles, because we
Building.
had the Mega Drive, then went to an N64. Not that I really played a lot of that, because at that time I was PC gaming. And then the first console I really got involved with properly was the PlayStation 1.
Ready. Building.
And that's where I found
Unit ready.
racing games, which is also one of my other loves.
Unit ready.
And RPGs, the likes of the original Final Fantasy series. And then coming from down there. You can attack them. Right, you can be Group 2 now. And I'll take cars as Group 3. Why are you just killing him? Right, let's go and explore a bit. So yeah, we ended up getting a PS1. Gran Turismo, the original Gran Turismo, I love that game so much. And that was a very expensive console when it came out as well.
Building.
Even the games were quite expensive, but started playing Final Fantasies. Started playing on Final Fantasy VIII actually. Played that through to completion, and that kind of started my love of RPGs as well. And to this day, they're the three main game types that I tend to play. Your RPGs, your strategies, and racing games. Never really was one. Oh god, get out of the way, get out of the way. You want to get squished by the harvester. Yeah, never really was one for, actually. I'll just take the harvester out. Might as well. Never really was one for first-person shooters. I dabbled a bit in Call of Duty, because after we got the PS1, obviously we got PS2, and at that point me and my brothers diverged. He stuck with PlayStation and went for the PS3. I ended up with an Xbox 360. I just preferred the Xbox 360 over the PS3. I felt it was more user-friendly, the online seemed to be better. It just felt like a more complete console. And then from there, ended up getting, well, I didn't actually get an original Xbox One. I held off because I kind of got burnt with the 360. We had a, before I kill that, finish my little story. We had a original Xbox 360, and obviously, as everyone had, we had the Red Ring of Death, we had all these issues with it that just weren't great, and then they brought out the Xbox 360 Elite, black version. Not a single problem with it. It was one of the best consoles I owned, and so having been burnt like that before, I decided to hold off on getting a Xbox One because I knew they'd release a better version of it. So when the Xbox One S came out, I decided to opt for that, partly actually because it had a Ultra HD Blu-ray player as well, which was nice. So that wasn't too bad. And then immediately after they released that, they decided to release the Xbox One X. So as anyone would, I traded in my Xbox One S and bought the X. Not that I've actually played it as much as I really should have. But the main reason I stuck with them, again, was things like Forza. Was never really a Halo fan too much. Never really a Call of Duty fan. But more for Forza, because I think after Gran Turismo 3, Gran Turismo 4 felt a bit... Oh god, that's loud. Loud and crashed apparently, so I'll skip that video. So yeah, Gran Turismo 4 felt a bit unpolished. It looked pretty, but the physics on it weren't great. And at that time I just discovered drifting, and we were playing through, I was starting to drift on... Oh, top score. Started to drift on Gran Turismo 3 and that was good fun, and then 4 came out and it was terrible. Yet on Forza there was still a lot going for it in terms of the more realistic physics, so stuck with that, and even through to now. Forza 7, Forza Horizon 3, I'm looking forward to Forza Horizon 4, I can't wait for that. And now going back to my roots of PC gaming also means that I get the opportunity for the Xbox Play Anywhere, so as much as I do truly believe that the exclusives on the PS4 are better, there's a lot more going for my setup to have the Xbox. So they just need to pull their finger out and get some decent exclusives, especially after the kerfuffle that was, I can't even remember the name of it, that Pirates game, Sea of Thieves. It seemed like a great idea, I pre-ordered it, it looked amazing, and then you get in there and there's nothing to do. Just a bit boring really. Like having Grand Theft Auto without any missions. Just be completely boring. So, and then I look at things like Horizon Zero Dawn and the Uncharted series, and I think, get a PS4. Someday I'll get one and go back through. Especially that new Detroit game. Oh, so good. Been watching a few streamers playing that, a few YouTubers, and that looks so good. Let's see what they got to say about Latvia.
I know I promised more deep background on Kane and Nod, but there'll be time for that later. Carter says you hit the ground fighting. Nice job. Now we need that again. Somewhere in this section is a Nod base. It's protected against airstrikes by Nod SAM sites.
Well, the videos don't
Knock
seem to
them
be
out
doing
so
very
Colonel
well, do
Morelli
they?
can provide air support. That should make it easier for you to take out the base. I'll be out of the loop for a couple of days doing civvy time at the UN. Don't let me down.
Okay. Well, the videos seem to be playing up on this, but then it is a 23-year-old game.
New
So,
construction options. Building.
even getting it to run on a more modern system was a nightmare, so I'll take the wins where I can, as long as I can play the game.
Construction complete. New construction options.
I will try and sort that out for the next video. Grenaders. These guys are absolutely useless. Okay, so let's get refinery going. Go and do some exploring. Oh god, there's a lot of them immediately. Let's go this way.
Construction
Well, there should
complete.
be
New construction
Tiberium field
options.
somewhere. There we go.
Building.
Barracks. Need some more units other than just this. So yeah, for now I'm going to stick with Xbox and PC, and then see what the future holds. I also think, though, as I said, the online experience with Xbox is better. The PC is better than all of them. What are you doing? Just go and get some more. Thank you.
Building. Building.
Yeah, I feel the online experience is better. The whole Xbox Live system. Although the online experience for PC is much better. You know, free online. Not to mention things like Discord.
Building.
There's a lot more options. So
Ready. Building.
I suppose that always. Oh god, I'm getting killed. Let's come back here. Come back here. That always has been the way with PC gaming, though.
Construction complete.
Even before online was really a thing with any other games,
Building in progress.
you still had your online PC gaming. Admittedly through dial-up, which was absolutely atrocious. Imagine trying to play this on a 56k
Unit ready.
connection.
Building.
Kill them.
Ready. Building.
I have to build a few more grenades in a minute as well.
Ready. Building. Unable to comply. Building in progress.
But yeah, gaming on dial-up, that was good fun. No one could use the phone line. You know, it cost you money to actually dial out onto the phones.
Unit ready.
Back in the old
Building.
days when you used to have the AOL disc delivered.
Unit ready. Building. Unit ready. Building.
Still remember setting that up for the first time, to be fair.
Unit ready.
Again, all thanks to my granddad.
Building.
Let's go and get you.
Unit ready.
I remember actually going round to his one time and he was so excited. He had just recently had a new type of internet installed, and it was called a T1 line at the time. It was basically the first iteration of broadband internet, and this was way back when most people weren't even on the internet yet, let alone thinking about broadband connections. And it was amazing to see. You know, we go back home and up our 56k dial-up, and to download a bit of music or a picture, it would take ages, and he was near on streaming already. He was able to play videos within seconds, download pictures with ease,
Building.
and I hope that I'm going to be like him as I get older.
Unit ready.
Embrace all the latest technology and,
Unit ready.
you know, really
Building.
just keep up to date with it all, because obviously it moves so fast, and even now he's not exactly young. Some guys over here, and he's still keeping up to date with it all. He got himself an iPhone, and you know, he's on Facebook and all the rest of it. And he's got to be Got to be in his 80s now. And he even still, for a while, rather than buying a new iPhone, he decided to go and buy all broken ones and started looking at YouTube tutorials on how to repair it. At the age of 80, he's repairing iPhones. Such a huge inspiration for everything for me, really, and I owe him a lot. I don't want you guys running away. Come here. Right, let's get some more minigunners, and then we'll head up this way and just kind of cover the bases here, because I don't really want to be attacked from up here anywhere. Hopefully they won't sneak round.
Unit ready. Building.
I think it's quite strange how gaming has changed over the past 20 years or so. We went from cartridge consoles. Let's just kill him because I don't really want that. No, you guys come over here. Why have I got a couple of minigunners in with that lot? Yeah, it's changed an awful lot. Went from silo jet, can I? Oh no, I can. There we go. Yeah, I went from you know, you had your console, whatever that may have been, and then you bought a cartridge or a disc, and that was kind of it. If you wanted the add-on packs, is that still not being destroyed yet? Come on, playing it. You had your cartridge, your disc, you played it, and that was kind of it. Expansion packs weren't really a thing. It was kind of like standalone games. They extended the original game, so you'd have like a series. Yeah, man. That really is they're like indestructible structure. Oh, forget it. You guys can come up here. And that was kind of it. And now it's all DLC. It's all this. You know, a game's life cycle isn't the game being released and then people play it and that's it. It's a whole. You know, look at the likes of Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto 5's been out for years now, and they just keep adding more and more DLC to it and making it new and fresh and exciting. And the life cycle of games has become a lot longer, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but because of how quick you can get updates and things like that now, you tend to have a lot of unfinished games being released. Let's just put it that way. I mean, the great example of that more recently is the likes of No Man's Sky, and all this lot's going to die. I'm going to have to get another army here. Come on. Go and kill all. You going to get it? Yeah, things like No Man's Sky, which, oh my god, they're all coming for it. Did one of them attack the harvester? Oh my god, right, you guys come back here. We'll need some support from these grenaders. Yeah, things like No Man's Sky, no, that got released on the early, it's gonna explode. Oh my god, come back. This is a, oh my god, these are all as good as dead. Right. Let's hit. Yeah, so No Man's Sky got released in tail end of 2016, was it? Beginning of 2017? And the hype for that game was astounding. And then the actual release wasn't really all that. It didn't really live up to it. But then, over the course of the last year, they've been updating it, and they recently released the next update. And all I've seen is everyone having good things to say about it. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. You don't end up with a broken game that's kind of unfixable. Let's take you a lot. But at the same time, there we are. But at the same time, you don't end up with games being released before the developers are really happy with it. They don't think, oh, we can release it and then do a day one patch and all of that. I think a lot more time and effort went into games. Went into the story, the production. Not to mention it was exciting finding a glitch or a bug. I remember playing
Building.
Gran Turismo 3,
Unit.
and me and my brother found a glitch on one of the maps where you would drive backwards into a barrier and just hold the accelerator while in reverse, and it would cause the other person, if you were playing split screen multiplayer, to just spin around in circles. For some reason, it caused it to get no grip whatsoever. And it was very exciting finding things like that. And it wasn't anything that could be patched or you know, updated and changed. It was a little achievement in its own right. Which actually takes me on to another sore subject: achievements. Oh my god. I love the idea of a little reward for doing something good, but I became a achievement hunter. I was always trying to 1,000 point a game, and well, I suppose if you play PlayStation, to get all the platinum trophies, and it just seems a lot of the time like you're just grinding in the game for nothing. You're not enjoying it, you're doing it just for that reward. And it was actually one achievement in particular that made me realise that I was addicted to achievements almost, and that was Mile High Club. That was a ridiculous achievement. You had to, I think it was on Call of Duty Modern Warfare, I believe. It was a final mission where you had to storm a plane. Don't get that. Go down from the bottom deck, sorry, to the back of the plane, up a set of stairs, across the top deck to the cockpit, and take out the hostage taker. Now, sounds easy enough. On veteran difficulty, it was a pain, but then you had 60 seconds to do it to get the achievement. And that achievement took me so long, so many repeated attempts, and I ended up getting frustrated to the point of, you know, throwing my controller. And games are supposed to be fun. They're supposed to be enjoyable. You know, yes, it's great when you've got that bit of stress and that bit of, oh, am I going to make it through this mission? That's fine. But when you've got the desire to do it for an achievement, and they make it excessively difficult, I just wasn't having fun anymore. And that's when I decided to really go back to my roots in gaming. Start playing some more PC games, more strategy, more relaxed games, and decided that I'm not gonna punish myself. This is supposed to be something I do for fun. So... no, they're all gonna get squashed, Don't want that. Right, you guys just stay there. Right, come on. Come on, just finish off these guys. So yeah, went back to my roots, started off a bit more PC gaming, classic PC gaming, strategy games, story-based RPG games. I just had enough of the online multiplayer Call of Duty type deal, and that's why I've avoided the likes of Fortnite. Played a little bit of PUBG. That's not too bad. But anything competition based, nah. Why are you? Not doing very well here, am I? I'm just not paying attention. Right.
Building.
No, not refinery.
Yes, sir. You got it.
Unit ready.
Got it. Reporting. Yes, sir. Ready and wait. Yes, sir. Not a problem.
Finish this lot up.
Building.
Acknowledge. Yes, sir.
Unit
Acknowledge.
ready.
You got it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I forgot how much fun games like this could be. So once I found out a few years back that it went to freeware, I was like, oh, brilliant. Now I can get hold of this again. Although not that I need to. I've still got my original boxed copy from 1995 with the original receipt and everything. You should imagine that's probably worth a pretty penny. Although the box isn't in the greatest condition. But still, original discs, they all still work. You can still install the game.
Not a problem.
mop up these last few guys, and I swear that structure can't still be there.
Roger.
But then saying that though, I didn't get the option for an airstrike, so it probably is.
Moving out.
Ah, Tiberium. Forgot about that. Damages all your inventory units as you go through it, but it's fine. We're nearly there. Nearly there.
Airstrike mission accomplished.
Oh, that was nice and easy. Let's see if the video plays this time. No, what a surprise. So we'll skip the video. And I think it's a good place as any to leave it. We're about the half-hour mark, so kind of rambled on a bit. I hope not too much. But yeah, so I think this is what the series is going to be for the most part. We're going to have a discussion about various topics while I play through the original Command & Conquer. Shouldn't take me too long. It's not the biggest game in the world, and should be fairly straightforward. I'm hoping to release one of these a week, so join me every Tuesday or Wednesday. I haven't quite decided on the release schedule yet. Probably be Wednesday, and then I'll be streaming, live streaming on Tuesdays and Sundays. So yeah, thank you for watching, and join me in the next episode.